This is Jody Barnhart, and I want to tell you a little bit about my story. When I was in my early 20s, I had a lot of stress at work. I was climbing the corporate ladder, doing what I could, and stress started taking its toll on me, and I started to develop these heart palpitations. And my heart would start pounding really hard and really fast, to the point that it never stopped, constantly pounding hard and fast. You could literally see my clothes move, and I was always so shy and so embarrassed about it that I would hold my books, like if I was at work or papers, that type of thing, I would hold them close to my chest and hide so nobody could see me. I was so weak that when I'd walk to the top of the stairs, I would like nonchalantly kind of stop or go really slow so I could catch my breath, so nobody knew that I was having a hard time, because I never opened up about it. This went on for a good 10 years, and I would go to the doctor. They really didn't understand anything. They didn't believe me. They made up, like, oh, it could be your mitral valve and these types of things. And so you know what? I just lived with it, because I'm the type of person that I just, hey, if this is the way it is, this is the way it is. I accept it and I move. I just do what I have to do. So that's what I did. And I didn't talk about it. Most of my friends had no idea what I was going through. And I did not want to take any drugs. And it's just not who I am, because I read the side effects and I just don't want to do that to myself. So years later, they ended up with this new surgery, and I had that done. I was one of the very first people, actually, that had it done. And I felt great. And 2 weeks later, it came back again. And so what I did was I called the surgeon and told him about it. And actually, when I say I felt great, it was like night and day for me. Let me preface that, because I felt like a completely different person. It was really weird to feel normal. When you feel a certain way, that's your normal. So when you all of a sudden are really normal, it's very strange. Anyway, I didn't tell anybody for a week when it happened, because I thought I was imagining it, because I was so used to feeling the other way. So anyway, I ended up calling the surgeon, and so they said, well, we're going to put a Holter monitor on you. I thought, what is a Holter monitor? I had no idea. No one in all those years put a Holter monitor on me. Well, what a Holter monitor is that they stick these electrodes to your chest, and then you have a little like recording device, and every time you have a symptom, you're supposed to push the button. So I go in, and the nurse tells me, okay, you know, she sets me up and she says, now you have to push this button every time you have a symptom. I'm like, well, I always have a symptom. She rolled her eyes, oh, just push the button when you have a symptom. And I thought, ugh, you know, I was just like, whatever, I'm used to not being believed anyway. I'm just going to wear the dumb thing. And okay, well, what am I going to do? Maybe when it's super duper bad, I'll press the button. I don't know. Honestly, I had no idea, but I just kind of would press it once in a while, even though it was a constant thing for me. So I do that for 24 hours. I bring it back, and she goes, oh, they'll call you in a day or two. Within 2 hours, they called me, and the surgeon called me, and he was in shock. He had never seen anything like this. He was like, oh my God. He's telling me on the phone, oh my God, oh my God. He goes, do you know how fast your heart rate is? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, your average heart rate is 213 beats a minute. That's your average. It was up to 240. And he was just flipping out on the phone. I'm like, yeah. But inside I'm thinking, hallelujah, somebody finally believes me, you know. It's like my validation. You know, if you've ever gone through that, it's frustrating, isn't it? When somebody doesn't believe you, or, you know. Anyway, so he says, well, and I lived in Michigan at the time, and my surgery was in Wisconsin. And so he said, well, can you come, and I think next week, or Friday. He said, can you come Friday? Like, this was a Monday or something, I forget. It was a few days later anyway, and I'm like, well, no, you know, because I have to have somebody drive me, and it wasn't an easy thing, and to plan in just a few days. And he said, well, I can't get you into September then. And it was a few months away, and I'm like, well, I'll just wait till then. And he said, are you going to be able to live that way for that long? And I'm like, are you kidding me? I've lived this way for 10 years. I think a few more months I'll be fine. I just had no idea, this is just the way life was for me. So I go in, I have the second surgery done, and what happens? Oh, maybe like 6 weeks later, I start getting symptoms again. I start climbing the stairs and boom, 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 boom. Feel that, and then it starts coming back. It wasn't as severe, maybe 180, which is severe, but compared to what it was at 213, it wasn't as severe. And so I'm like, ugh, okay, let's call again. And so I went in, and my doctor in the city that I was in, he, can't figure it out. I'm telling you, I have so many tests done on me and poked so much that my arm, it literally has some marks on it from so many needles going in my arm, for blood and all that. You name it, and I have had that test many, 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 many times. And so it was very frustrating. So month after month, I went to the hospital. And, test after test, I was working with a surgeon in Milwaukee, and he was conversing with some world specialists, and nobody could figure out what was going on with me. It was very frustrating. And, it's just the way it is. And so a year of this later, going in getting tested every month and really having no progress, I actually started on a product that made all the difference in the world for me within 6 weeks. It was like night and day. I was a new person. That was 17 years ago. I feel better now, and I have more energy than I've ever had in my life. And I don't know, it's just fantastic. I love the way I feel now. There were things along the way that I would do that I've learned that I can, help my heart palpitations. And if you click on the link below, there are some things that maybe you could do. Maybe you're not as severe as I was. Maybe there's little things that can help you with your palpitations, or, pounding heart, really fast heart rate. Again, you could try those things. It's free. Just click on the link, give me your information, and I will email that to you and see if that works for you. If not, you could always do a consultation with me. We can talk about it. I have been through it. I understand. I understand how scary it is and frustrating, and when you're not getting anywhere and the doctor says, oh, you're fine. But you don't feel fine, and you know your body. You know your body more than anybody knows your body. So trust yourself. Trust what your gut says about how you feel.